I have 1,000 T-shirts and I finally did the laundry. But we are live now. I am still having some iPad issues, aka now I can't find the iPad charging cable, so I can't play our theme song just now. But welcome to the War Report, brought to you by TagMeADate.com. I'm your host, Vince Barry from Northeast Wrestling. My cat is over there somewhere. I'm sure she's going to try and scratch at my backdrop and maybe knock the whole thing over. But we are live. It is a Tuesday night, if you will. 7 p.m. here on November 3rd. Where did the year go?
Right.
It went by so. This is the fastest year, and it happens every year. Seems to be the fastest year. Maybe I'm just getting old, but nevertheless, we are here to discuss wrestling, all things wrestling, and all things my cat trying to disconnect power from under my desk. But all things wrestling, we have our TagMeDate.com crew here. We're going to talk about everything. Let's just go around the room, say hello to everybody. Eric, we'll start with you. How are things in your neck of the woods, buddy?
Not bad. I just had my birthday a couple days ago. I appreciate your message the other day.
Wish him a happy birthday. I said I hope he eats 5 pieces of cake.
Ooh. And then I replied, 3 ain't enough, man. I need 5.
He needed 5, and that's okay because it's his birthday.
But not bad. I just turned 36. That's crazy.
Right?
But you're right though. The year has gone fast. Our 1-year anniversary is coming up very soon, December 3rd.
I was just gonna say it's a little less than a month, so we'll have to do something for that show.
Yeah, I'd like to.
Super nice.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. We'll do something for that. Ryan, hey Ryan,
Yes.
you had missed a couple shows, right?
I'm back.
Yeah, there you go. He's back. Oh, man.
Work's been crazy.
Damn, dude. Well, I'm glad you can join us again.
I'm glad to be back.
How are your Cleveland Browns there? How are they doing?
They're finding a way to lose every week.
Sounds like the Packers this week and the Giants every week.
Hey, the Broncos.
That Broncos defense
Defense
is stellar.
Though it makes me feel a little bit better about the Browns since they lost by 3 and then next week they go out and blow out the Packers.
Yeah, Jesus. That's unbelievable that the Packers got their asses kicked like that. I love the Packers. It's sad to see.
Yeah, seeing Rodgers didn't have 100 yards for over like 3 quarters.
Rodgers had no protection. I don't know what. I know that defense is really good, but you'd think if you're 300 pounds and there are 4 of you standing in front of the quarterback that maybe you could stop a motherfucker once in a while. But I guess not. God damn, it was so frustrating to watch 2 undefeated teams, and it was like watching Elway in the '90s run over people again. Like this was the equivalent of Elway Favre, but just updated for Peyton Rogers. Anyway, Big Cheese, Steve, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well. I can't complain. Shout out to Steel Chair Magazine. We were just featured in another full spread in their latest magazine that came out today. I sent you guys all the link as well, so you guys have it. So pretty exciting. And Tag Me a Date's just doing big things. We're excited. We got a lot of shows, a lot of events coming up, a lot of good shit happening. So we're pumped.
Excellent. Well, we got a lot of things to discuss right now. I don't know what to do because I tried to find my external hard drive with all of my system, my edited sounds on it, and I couldn't find it. And I want to play all of our sound effects, but I don't have them on my computer at the moment. I feel very sad about that. Again, if I didn't just wake up from a 2-hour nap like 15 minutes ago, maybe I would have had time. But anyway, we have topics though to discuss. And we're going to do our Freed, then 5. Freed, then 5. There we go. Feel the power!
I feel the power!
Okay, did you guys...
Seth Rollins!
Did you see them all wait? Like, Seth Rollins' song played, and they were doing the air instruments, and then there's that break in the song, and they went like this, and they waited, and they're like... They got back into it. Those guys are maniacs, and I love it. But we are going to... pass this thing along to, as I said, one of our resident Jews, Eric Friedman, who has curated this list of 5 topics that we're going to go over, and we call it the Friedman 5.
All right. We have Raw. this is a topic that Ryan brought up that I think we're all going to get into a debate on. Is Roman Reigns ready right now or not to be world champion? To be thrown the ball. We'll get to that. I'm sure we all have I'm sure we all have our moments or our thoughts on that subject. Something that I thought about, which kind of this leaked out last week. It always seems like right after our podcast, something else happens that enables us to talk about things on a weekly basis, which is great.
Yeah. Good. It gives us
Hulk Hogan's 1998 WCW contract was leaked, and there's a couple of things to talk about with that. And let's see what else is going on. We got Survivor Series coming up. I do find it interesting that they've been kind of emphasizing a lot last night, specifically about the elimination matches. So I'm hoping maybe more than one will happen. Yeah. It's been a while. Tradition.
No deadly games this year.
But
Usos are back.
Tradition would be nice.
Yes, I agree.
And otherwise, I think I don't know if that's 5, but there's plenty to talk about.
Right. Every time I click on a link,
anyone, feel free if you think of something.
Orton's injured.
Who? Orton? Oh yeah, he threw out his shoulder, taking out the trash.
Is that for real?
Yes. He's out for 6 months.
He hyperextended it or something, or
yeah, he's out till about April time.
Yeah, they're saying that he should get the doctor when they interviewed. And again, it could be a work, who knows? But the doctor they interviewed said that basically it's not an if, it's a when if he doesn't get corrective surgery. So if he doesn't get corrective surgery, this is a recurring thing because the tendon in there is just so loose and so weak after all those years of delivering RKOs to people that he needs.
Yeah, I can see that. Out of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean he's doing a lot. He for 10 years he did this giant beach ball thing, so he had to do his arms like that all the time. And now he's doing the RKO. I mean he's got a lot of things where his arms are moving. So
I mean shit, look what Sami Zayn did to himself just in his entrance.
Sami Zayn, oh jeez, that was the worst. I felt so bad. He put on a hell of a match, and we haven't seen him since. What do we want to start with? Raw. We'll start with Raw.
Let's kick it off.
I was watching one of the worst football games in history, legit. So I only caught a little bit. Most of it was the New Day dancing. The one thing I wanted to catch that I haven't seen yet, maybe I'll try and pull it up on my computer, is the Bray Wyatt apparently throwing lightning and all that. All right, so we'll get to that too. We'll start with Raw though. Who wants to handle things with Raw? I'm gonna find this Bray Wyatt clip.
Oh. Rock, paper, scissors? I got it.
Ready to go. Go for it.
We got a traditional start off to Raw with Authority Reigns, traditional, I'm going to win the title, Reigns. He still cannot cut a promo that lasts like a big promo. He needs to make it short, quick, to the point.
Absolutely.
He's not a Seth Rollins. He's not going to come out and sell you the match with his words.
No.
I don't know. I disagree. I think Reigns has gotten shit tons better on the mic.
He has, but I think anything over 2 or 3 minutes, he just gets lost.
I didn't say he wasn't better. He's just not at main event level of come out and cut a 15-minute promo.
Yeah, but he's the kind of guy that shouldn't have to.
No,
I know John Cena did, but he shouldn't. He really, he's that guy who, he just needs to come out and go, "Don't worry, baby girl, believe that."
He should be the Goldberg kind of guy,
Yeah.
Let his
I agree with you on that, but that's not where we're going with it. That's not the superstar they want. That's not the superstar they're trying to present.
Yo, that was the worst Photoshop job ever with that lightning. I'm sorry, I just watched that clip.
It was alright live, but the lightning and any of that stuff never really looked all that good for Undertaker.
Remember the time he lit the camera guy on fire?
Yeah.
And the guys, you knew it was a stuntman because he was covered head to toe in fire and he's waving his arms like this. And they have on the screen, "This is a stunt. Please do not attempt it home."
Don't do this at home. I
No
thought
shit.
the promo was really good though, but
Yeah. Well, money.
we got Triple H and the Authority coming out, setting up, taunting, pulling the traditional heel stuff, taunting the match, and then going with a traditional Survivor Series style match.
Do you remember a few years ago when John Cena used to do the exact same thing that Triple H and Stephanie are doing now? "Who wants to see a title match right here in Winston-Salem?" And everybody would go, "Woo!" And he goes, "But I'm not here for that. That's at the pay-per-view." And they're all like, "Boo!" It's like, God damn it, dude. Like, I get that they want to get that, like, show how everybody's looking forward to the match. But it's like, you should know at this point, guys. This is a Raw on November 2nd, and they've got a pay-per-view in 3 weeks. They're not going to give you a title match.
Or the go-home show where they
Right.
we're going to cancel the pay-per-view to give you the match right here.
Oh, so can we just? I want to mention something. It was brought up by Alexis in a text message to me yesterday. She said that when they recapped the last year's Survivor Series, that Sting was not mentioned at all.
Yes, that pissed me off to no end when I watched that
What
video.
is up with that?
How do you gloss over that whole thing? That was a pretty important reason why.
Made Dolph Ziggler look like $1 million, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's one reason.
Dolph Ziggler fought the Authority by himself, 5-on-1.
And what if next week we see Sting with Bray Wyatt? That angle. So
like against him or with him?
Against, with the Brothers of Destruction. If you take that angle, it's better to not bring up Sting. So next week it's a bigger surprise that you see Sting.
That would be nice, and I hope maybe that's why
If that was their intention, then I'm all for it.
Right, I'm okay with that. I would not be okay with them perpetuating the idea that Sting didn't have anything to do with it. And I read an article that tried to place the blame on Sting's injury back on Sting. I'm like, dude, he's 56. He had the cayunes to get back in the ring, and some guy threw him around like a rag doll. I don't necessarily think it's his fault.
Roland said he wanted to go balls to the wall, so there's some. Sting should have. I'm more of taking devil's advocate on this. He should have went balls to the wall, but
yeah, well, I think I appreciate what he did because he tried to do what he had done in the past, and it was. Like,
I appreciate it, but he doesn't need to.
This wasn't Ricky Steamboat coming back for that WrestleMania match, which was the best. That is the best comeback ever. The Mania match, and then his singles match the next month with Chris Jericho.
That was great.
Absolutely.
And I mean, other than, you can't ask for a better performance. He hit all of his spots. He got all of his work in. He got all of his shit in, as they say. And
the
Ricky
classic Steamboat arm drag,
Yeah, everything. Did he do he did the flying crossbody, right?
Yes, he did.
Oh, of course. It's, that was he's a classic. But that was a good comeback. Sting's comeback was about a decade short.
I don't remember. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Remember last week we were or it was a week or so ago, we were discussing how apparently the reason Sting had lost at WrestleMania against Triple H was because they thought it was going to be apparently his last match. So if they thought it was going to be his last match, why didn't they just do Sting Undertaker then and just get it over with?
And then we don't have to rehash Bray Wyatt Undertaker again.
I wouldn't have been.
Because now, in the back of my mind is constantly, this is awesome, but you lost to him already.
I don't know. I enjoy the.
Oh,
there's more to it. I mean, you have a bigger wide family, which you're setting off a different. At least you have
bigger in size, especially with Strowman.
Strowman, you at least are bringing something different to the table instead of a 1v1. You have now.
It wasn't singles, and you can see
the Wyatt family with him.
And I love that they brought in that big dude. Like, I mean,
Strowman is the white and black sheep.
The 3-man was great for what it was, and now to keep it fresh, like they broke up the Shield. I mean, they broke up the Wyatts too for a little while, but to keep the Wyatt thing fresh, they added the new guy. Rowan wasn't there, Harper wasn't. They kind of rebuilt the team. The Avengers assembled, and then we've got our new Wyatt family. Wyatt, the ultimate Wyatt
He
family.
looks, he,
Oh man, I love it.
he
What are
looks
they gonna
like
do with this
Bray
Undertaker?
Wyatt got baned, if you will.
Yes. Oh my. Yeah, he looks like he got that Bane serum in him. But where are they going with Sting and Undertaker? I mean, not with Sting, but with Undertaker and Kane. Are they really implying that they're gone off TV? I mean, they got to make a comeback.
Well, I think they're going to wind up doing the Survivor Series style match. It's going to be Undertaker, Kane, Sting, whoever else against all the Wyatts. So
What about
they're going to
Finn?
come back.
What about Finn Balor?
I was just gonna say people.
I've heard that rumor actually, and I'd definitely be fucking okay with that.
That would be a great. I mean, just the entrances. And if there's one person who would fit in with Sting, Undertaker, and Kane,
Those would be the best 4 entrances
With
possible.
that dark kind of, yeah.
yeah, it would fit the theme.
And it would be appropriate that somebody debuted at Survivor Series the same way The Undertaker debuted at Survivor Series.
25 years later.
Right, 25 years to the day later.
That would be pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, but who?
Hartford Civic Center. I didn't go to that show, but it was in my hometown. And that was the birth of The Undertaker. And then we also got one of the worst WrestleManias. I think we got, what was it, 13? No, not 13. 11? Michael Diesel, and they came out with Pamela Anderson and Jennifer Flowers or somebody. Some stupid shit.
Oh, that was
Hey,
awful.
if 14 was great, though. 1 year
14,
later,
Oh, yeah.
gotta have a
That's
low
right.
before a high.
That 1990 Survivor Series, I mean, yeah, we got the debut of The Undertaker, but we also got the debut of the Gobbledygooker, for Christ's sake. So,
Didn't there?
You know they're bringing that back. They have to bring that back for the Survivor Series. Get
It's not
Mondo,
the-
the only
Mondo
way I'm
Guerrero back
okay
in
with
there.
that is if they have Mean Gene and they do like the do-si-do thing.
I want him to go up to Mean Gene
Lord.
and try and dance, and he goes, "Give me a break."
It'd be cool to see The Rock.
I'd like to see Brock Lesnar beat the shit out of the Gobbledygooker.
That would be awesome.
I'll tell you what, though. What if, like, Brock stepped up out of respect for Taker to be a partner? I don't see that happening because he's not exactly a team player.
No,
That is
no.
not portrayed to be a team player, but I almost like. Did you notice at the end of their match, Taker kind of gave him a little nod before the Wyatts came out?
They wrapped it up, and I think he did the whole "you got me" thing. It was a one-upmanship.
Yeah, I like how that ended.
It
The
was
only problem I had is that they didn't reference at all their matches back in 2002, 2003. I really wish they would.
which were awesome, like that Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, last week I actually went back and watched the Hell in the Cell match.
I go back and watch that every couple months.
It is a great match.
My
But,
favorite is Heyman on the outside, and Brock is getting beat up by Taker. He goes, Brock, we're losing. He's so sad. He's like, Brock, we're losing. And it's like, I think he knows. He's getting kicked by the Undertaker right now.
I mean, just that iconic moment where Brock is standing on top of the cage holding the belt up high. That's
bloodied
fantastic.
and just holding the.
You know how many times I do that in the game when I play Hell in a Cell match? I go up to the top and I celebrate like that.
Well, you didn't know what he was doing at the time. He put the belt around his neck and climbed up the cage, and you're just like,
Yeah.
the fuck? Like, is he
What
going
are
to
you
jump
doing?
off? Like, was
Well,
he throwing
I don't.
something?
He probably didn't have enough range to throw it up there.
Right.
He's
Yeah,
gonna
no.
do a shooting star press off and it land on his neck.
Oh, that would. Oh my God, that is the worst. I hate watching that. I hate watching that.
Oh, I know. I cringe every time they do a replay of him landing on his neck like that.
No, the worst. But worse than that is Sid. That's just the worst one I've seen.
Oh, why did you have to mention that? Oh, that brings down the day.
That's But anyway, on to other things. Raw.
Yeah.
Yes, we got some good mid card here, a decent mid card.
You know what? It looks like they planted seeds for not that this is that great or anything, but they planted seeds for yet another Del Rio Swagger thing, and I'm actually okay with that. And if this is the one time that, other than the Rusev thing, where they had a chance to do something for just once with Swagger, this would be it.
I honestly thought Swagger should have went over Rusev.
Yeah, I mean,
I thought he should have went over Rusev at SummerSlam with traditional flag match rules.
Yeah.
That way, Rusev doesn't lose any credibility.
Right, he didn't get
He
pinned.
didn't get pinned or submit. But you still give Swagger that moment.
You got
And, you know,
his character needed a moment like that.
especially with Zeb and the face turn that he had. So, you know.
You could have done a whole lot with the Real Americans.
But I hope they don't squander it with Swagger challenging him for the U.S. belt at, like, Survivor Series or TLC. And I hope they kind of wait a while, let it simmer.
Oh, come on. It's going to be next week on Monday Night Raw.
And then there was the women's match, which was actually really, really, really good.
Great. I loved it.
Fantastic.
And especially because of Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch, especially.
It was great seeing Paige pick up the win, though. Her promo,
And it was expected. And Brie was there.
She held her own. She definitely didn't look out of place, though.
Yeah, she tried. She was, hit the classic Daniel Bryan spots. She was.
Did you hear that Nikki's injured?
Yeah, she's gonna be out for a couple months.
Well, that would make sense then as to why she wasn't included in that match.
Yeah, people are speculating that she's not actually injured and that she just wants to take time off when Cena has time off, which is completely within her right. I don't give a shit what she does.
I think that makes a hell of a lot of sense. Why not? Spend
Go
some
for
time
it.
together.
Please, spend some time together. Get pregnant. Don't wrestle anymore.
Yes. And I must admit, I saw their little Halloween thing where they dressed up as Harry and Lloyd from Dumb and Dumber. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I didn't like it because it was from somebody shared it from her page. If somebody shared it from his page, I probably would have liked it, but didn't need that on my conscience.
But I always like a Harry and Lloyd reference, so I'm good.
Oh, and they did it exactly like the movie too. So
yeah,
it was
they did a good
very
job.
well done.
He sold the cane to the back of the knee. It was great.
Yeah, he went down.
Man, Cena sold more in that thing than he usually does.
Now it looks like we've got Tyler Breeze, main roster. He's in a feud with Dolph Ziggler, period. This is not like he's just sitting there watching. Now he's involved. Are we ever going to do anything with Cesaro, or are we just going to sit on him for a while?
We're going to sit on him for a while, unfortunately.
It seems like continuing a feud with Stardust. I mean,
the Stardust.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
It was him in the Ascension back in the audience watching, and he had a sign called the Stardust section or something.
Yeah.
Cody he gets it. I wish, and again, I mean, I know you can't push everybody in the main event simultaneously, but Cody was the guy back when they decided to go with Sandow with the briefcase. Cody was the guy then. They did it with Ambrose. They're doing it with Cesaro. It's like, give these guys a shot at the top once. Give them that title match. Make them look good, even if they lose.
Ambrose had a few shots at the top of Rollins.
But then he got booked into the ground with the fucking exploding television and shit like that.
And falling off the ladder with
Cesaro. Look what Cesaro did, like just last night or any night. Cesaro is amazing in the ring, and that should speak for itself.
He's got the Roman Reigns
don't give
problem
me that
about
shit
talking.
of he's, whatever Vince McMahon had said, whatever.
He said he was too Swiss.
Yeah, he wasn't clicking with the crowd.
Yeah.
He was missing that something, I believe he said.
And I kind of understand, because when he talks, you know that he's translating Swiss into English, cutting the promo. It's one of those things where he's a native English speaker now, but he wasn't a native English speaker when he was growing up. So he still has, like, sometimes he says words. Like when you listen to Pat Patterson, and Pat Patterson, sometimes he says the thing that's the wrong thing sometimes, and that's exactly, like him and GSP. They have that French Canadian thing. And then he has the Swiss thing, and it's not bad. It's just that's his hump to get over right now, because everything else is awesome.
He's a beast in the ring. And
he doesn't feel like, he needs a gimmick. No, he doesn't really need a gimmick. He showed up on that Halloween episode of SmackDown in that suit with the sunglasses, and he looked like a superstar.
He looked like fucking James Bond. It was awesome.
Right. So just have him do that. I hate, we already have the Russian guy or the Bulgarian guy or whatever, but it's okay if he's the Swiss guy that wears nice suits. Like, just let him be him and beat people up. Like, that's Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar doesn't have a gimmick. He's just mean and beats people up.
And it works very well for him.
It does, and that would be a hell of a match. I would love to see Cesaro. He might not be able to do it. I would love to see Cesaro set up for the swing on Brock Lesnar and just hear what everybody in the arena does when he grabs Brock Lesnar's legs. He doesn't even get him up yet. He just grabs his legs, and everybody's gonna like shit themselves.
Oh yeah, and I also love that I don't even remember who he was swinging, but last night, but he
Miz, right?
Miz, and then he stopped and then put the sharpshooter, probably as a tribute to Tyson Kidd, which is
he's been doing that for a while now.
And
I knew
like
he did
the
that at house shows. I didn't know, it's nice to see that at Raw.
Yeah, but, he's done it on Raw, SmackDowns.
But regarding Cesaro, I want to say something to the fans real quick. Stop counting. You're counting too quickly. You're counting seconds. You think you're counting rotations, but you're counting seconds.
This is what you're fucking harping on?
No,
what
I'm
are
just
we
saying,
counting? Are we counting seconds or are we counting because I think some people are counting seconds.
I think people are getting confused as to what they're counting. It bothers me. I don't know why. I'm very anal like that,
It's easier on TV because he's facing the camera, and then when he swings, we have a point of reference if he comes back around.
But just wait for a full rotation and then count.
One, all the way around is one.
I don't know why it pisses me off. It just does.
I completely get it though.
Just do the count from Sesame Street. 1, ha ha ha.
That would be oh my god, what if they did do that? And the crowd was just like, 1, ha ha ha. He would drop the guy. Cesaro would drop the guy and just look around.
That would be awesome.
Now, here's one that's weird to me. And again, I didn't see the match, so you'll have to fill me in. The Lucha Dragons beat Barrett and Sheamus?
Yeah, it was an awesome match, too, I thought.
It was a solid match. I didn't know. What is Kalisto's finish?
He does that sitting,
I know that.
I don't know what it's called.
DDT thing. I couldn't finish her because I have no idea what that thing's called.
Nobody would have foreseen that. However, right before the match started, they did this little thing about the Lucha Dragons. I'm like, okay, they're probably going to go over now.
Right. Yeah, that kind of tips their hand. But, I mean, even against those guys, though, you'd think...
But still, it was still iffy. I was like, there's no way.
I don't know.
I agree. I mean, it was... You see the Lucha Dragons against those big guys, and you're like,
And especially since they've decided to go on like a full-on team with Barrett and Sheamus.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, then... And I say case... I would love, if somebody, like Ambrose would be awesome, challenge him in a match for the case, just like Edge did with Kennedy.
Yeah.
Take it off him. And that way they can concentrate on the tag team and get the goddamn case off Sheamus.
To get to our three-way match.
Yes,
at WrestleMania.
Absolutely.
Maybe Reigns wins at Survivor Series, Rollins wins the Rumble to get his rematch, and Ambrose...
Yeah, and then especially if Barrett and Sheamus really gel as a team, then you really don't need him to be Money in the Bank. That's gonna,
It would mess up the team dynamic, yeah.
I mean, obviously matches against each other would be pretty awesome brawls, but still, I think they'd be a formidable team though.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good team. They teased it in WWE 2K13.
Yeah, with them and Drew McIntyre, and it was pretty cool.
Who just had neck surgery.
Yeah.
Oh, and you know what's sad? Sometimes the storylines in the game are actually better than what actually happens on Raw.
Yeah, because the people that work on those are the people that were working on real video games, like with real stories, and they know how to write, instead of people who wrote for 30-minute sitcoms. You can't write long form that's all they focus on.
If you know how to write for Hollywood, that doesn't mean jack if you don't know how to write for wrestling.
Yeah. And I know at one point they stopped hiring wrestling fans. I don't know if they've changed their opinion on that, but...
There was a point where Freddie Prinze Jr. was on the writing staff.
Yeah.
And he hated it, and that's why he left.
And so was Patrice O'Neal. You
Was
guys,
he really?
he
Before
was.
he
He
died?
wrote before he died. He did work with them. If you look on YouTube, he did like an
Oh,
Opie and Anthony
wow, I did not know
interview.
that.
Yeah, it was the same thing like Freddie Prinze. He only worked there for like maybe 6 months or something. But he was there, and it was the same thing. He traveled with him backstage, writers' meetings, all that stuff. And there is a YouTube video from him talking to Opie and Anthony. So it was interesting just to hear him talk about it as an outsider coming in. Just for reference, Callisto's finisher, which nobody would know unless they went to Wikipedia, is called Salida del Sol, standing
Oh,
sit
that's
out
right. I
Suriname.
remember
Yeah.
hearing that on commentary,
Oh, who listens to commentary anymore?
I
especially
didn't
the god
catch
awful
it.
commentary that's
Yeah.
been for the last few years.
Vintage Callisto. He debuted 2 years ago. Anything else notable? Let me see. I feel like all the notable. Well, we have the elimination match. We haven't gotten
That
to
was
that
a
yet.
good. That was a good solid match with the Usos returning.
Yeah, but you notice they didn't leave him as a surprise for the very, very end of the entrances. Like they usually are like, oh, superstars are coming back. We'll put him in. The 1, 2, 3 guys come out, and then the team is introduced.
Yeah.
They knew that
Yeah.
Reigns and Ambrose were coming out, and they were going to blow the roof off the place. And if Roman Reigns and Ambrose came out first, whatever reaction the Usos would have got would have just looking like shit. I'm happy they're back. I don't wish them any ill will. I just think that they're a tag team. They're not going to have the
Yeah,
same
they're
reaction.
not obviously not going to get the reaction of the single star.
I just hope they don't push them right back into the title thing.
They are, unfortunately.
Do they? Oh, they haven't taped SmackDown yet, but I guess we'll see a little bit later.
Well, from what I keep on hearing is they pushed the Dudleys back to push the Usos.
And at this point, I mean, I like the Dudleys. For some reason, it's just not clicking the same way it was, and I think it's just because we've got a whole. What is that noise? We've got a whole writing team and a whole different generation of people producing the show aside from Vince McMahon who might not be as familiar with the Dudley Boys' work. So these guys aren't coming out and cutting their... First of all, Bubba's not coming out and cutting the old Bubba, "You shall not mess with the Dudleys" promo. They're not doing that. All they're doing is the table spot and the what's up and the 3D. They really aren't... They need to have their identity as the Dudleys. Even if...
Yeah.
Something. Just...
I think it's probably better to get the Usos back in there, have another team in the mix, and then expand on the Dudleys a little bit more.
You remember back in the day when they would do the 10-team or the 5-team on 5-team Survivor Series?
The infamous Demolition Powers of Pain switcheroo.
Yeah, and everybody the ring is so surrounded. It's all 4 corners because there are 20 guys.
Awesome to me. I loved it. I was a kid. I was like, this is fantastic.
The one I loved, people apparently hated, was when they did the Ultimate Survivor match, where they took the survivors from the two.
That was a fantastic idea.
I loved that, and I know it broke kayfabe because you're like, oh well, the baby faces have to have this many, and the heels have to have this many, so we know the finishes, and then we're going to the main event. But I loved that there was an ultimate, the fact that you got. If it wasn't the Ultimate Warrior, and they were like, okay, the survivor tonight gets a title shot, I would be so for that. If they did 3 or 4 elimination matches, those guys then the qualifiers did a final match, and then they got a...
You know what was great about that is they gave Tito one last hurrah by being part of that team for a second with Hogan and Warrior.
Oh, yeah.
And you knew he was going to, job right out, but at the same time, I'm like, all right, that's interesting.
He had to work a little while so the Ultimate Warrior could get his breath.
But they probably did that too because they wanted another Santana Martel confrontation.
Yeah, because back in the day they had forethought and they planned this shit
great.
out.
And every Royal Rumble after, every time they got in the ring with each other, they beat the crap out of each other. And which to me is one of those missed moments where I think WrestleMania 6 should have been the culmination of a Tito Martel match.
Yeah.
Tito versus Barbarian went nowhere, and it was a throwaway match, and Martel versus Coco went nowhere also. Combine the two, have a blow-off match, and that's that. And I understand, and Steve would use this argument of, one person rises, as the Shawn Michaels, the other's the Marty Jannetty.
Yeah.
However, it would hold more water if Martel actually accomplished something afterwards. He got the model push,
Yeah.
but he didn't win any titles or anything.
Didn't he have the IC title? Well, not right away.
No, he didn't.
He had it like 6 years later and then put over Triple H, right? Was that the gimmick? He put over like Hunter Hearst Helmsley. He didn't put over Triple H. He put over Hunter Hearst Helmsley. I love Rick Martel. I mean, Rick Martel could have that kind of thing maybe, and I'm hoping Tyler Breeze kind of takes stuff from him and not just Zoolander.
I would love an appearance from Martel with him. Just one day.
They come in. It has to be Christmas, like SmackDown or Raw, and they have gifts for each other. And then Tyler Breeze gives him a selfie stick, and then Martel gives him a thing of arrogance.
Oh, man.
Like, that would be a nice little thing.
And while we're on the subject, we were at WrestleMania 29 a few years back, and I know you were there too.
Yeah, I was in a different.
So, dude, did you see the guy dressed as Rick Martel, and he had a freaking thing of arrogance with him?
I don't know if I saw him.
And he had a button that says "Yes, I am a model" on it.
That's awesome. I mean, I saw a lot of costumes, but I don't think I saw that one.
There was a Dusty Rhodes. There was a Macho Man. There was a Flair or two. There was a Warrior.
Jeez, and then in New Orleans, surprise, surprise, because it was in New Orleans and the characters from New Orleans, every fat guy was Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania.
Every fat guy with a beard.
Yes, it's low-hanging fruit. It's an easy-ass costume to do. One kid was real into it, though, because he had the same, that orange Hawaiian shirt that Bray Wyatt always wears?
Yeah.
He found that shirt and was wearing it. He had, like, everything was, like, exact. And to top it all off and make it super creepy, he actually got the same not fake, real tattoos on his arms.
I think I saw that guy at 31.
Jesus. He had like the crosses, those big crosses.
Yeah. Let me see if I have a picture of him on. Let me see if I can find him again.
He committed to that thing. Holy shit.
Oh, yeah. I asked him for a picture. He's like, I'm not the real Bray Wyatt. Really? I never thought. I always thought Bray Wyatt would just be kind of wandering around the WWE shop store.
Walking in the main entrance of the Superdome. Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of wandering around like some random smuck.
In Providence, we saw those three guys. One was dressed as Macho Man. The other was IRS. And the other was, I forgot who, Sting, I think. And I saw some comments on the thing. They're like, man, they look so real. I'm like, Macho Man's dead, right?
That's awful.
God.
The dude dressed as IRS was awesome, though.
Those costumes, I love when people actually go and they get like 6-7 people together.
And there was that one dude that had that robe, remember? He had that robe that he had signed by like
Oh, yes! Oh, my God. Yeah, I wanted to clothesline that guy and take his robe. Because didn't we see the same... Was it the same guy or a different guy at WrestleCon? Not WrestleCon. I think I saw that guy at WrestleCon, but I mean the one we did in Providence. FanFest. Did we see I thought we saw a guy with a robe that was all signed and gimmicked up like that, too. Or at least I might have.
In Providence, yes.
In Providence, yeah. There was a guy walking by the booth. But this main event, I mean, I love that they're getting Kevin Owens in there. I mean, Kevin Owens and the New Day are in a WWE main event. Even if it is Raw, they're in a main event. And
I love what Kevin Owens did with Seth Rollins and deal with the devil.
He's like, you owe me one, buddy.
And then he went...
Wouldn't that be... That would be a match. I mean, I'm sure they've wrestled before, and I'll Google it, and it'll be like, I know somebody's going to be like, well, one year in CZW or Dragon Gate, they wrestled Hurricane Hall. And it's like, I know, I want to see it on Raw. I don't give a shit about when they wrestled 20 years ago.
They've wrestled all the time in Ring of Honor.
Right? Yeah, I mean, I'm sure
they had
did.
Like 2-year program.
Was that Age of the... See, when I tuned out on the Age of the Fall, I thought it was so, like, it was just whiny emo. I got it. It was perfect for that time because they all had MySpaces and live journals, and Jimmy Jacobs wrote all this depressing crap, and it worked for them. But I was just like, and I guess maybe it was the reaction they were looking for.
I'll pass along I don't have your information, but I found
That picture, nice. That guy would do a really good job on
He
the
did
costume.
the whole backwards, the start of the backwards spider crawl.
Now, because I mean, we'll do a Survivor Series prediction show whenever,
Yeah.
but let's say Rollins wins. Does Kevin Owens step up for TLC and say, "Hey, I teamed with you in this thing. You said you owe me one. You don't have a challenger for TLC."
I
that
think
could be interesting.
I actually had
That would give him a chance to have a good match and still, lose. It would be like not title versus title, but you could do like a ladder match. Or you could do something with those guys at TLC.
you have to do. It'll be some form of gimmick match.
Yeah.
But would they be smart enough to actually follow through and remember that? Because remember,
Yeah.
Well,
we're still waiting for the
Heyman
Bella
or
twins. to figure
not
out what
Heyman.
the
It
fuck
was
happened.
Barrett and Heyman owe each other for one of those Survivor Series a few years back, and they never did anything with that. And I'm just very anal, so that's why I remember that. But
Maybe he bought him lunch or something. Like, here, we went to Chipotle and I got this. And then just
I got you the sandwich.
I'll tell you what, though, I would love it if they took the 4 remaining people from each team, because they're doing Rollins versus Reigns, and just made that a Survivor Series match at the event. Why not? They just fought, I know, but still,
Yeah,
it would add another one.
Why not make the surviving team #1 contenders and have a multiple man match at TLC?
Oh, like the survivors of the Survivor Series
Yeah.
match get us to. Yeah, that could work too.
Or have them go into a fatal 4-way somewhere between.
Continue. Yeah, just continue. I mean, listen, we have the same matches on Raw every week. Switch it up a little. Let's do it.
Just have a fatal 4-way the following Raw #1 contender match. That way you could get an Ambrose match.
Yeah, I'm so worried about Ambrose turning heel.
Well, it's gonna happen.
I know.
I mean,
I don't
it's
think
gonna happen. And you know what? You're gonna love him anyway because he's still Ambrose. He's still gonna be fucking nuts. He's
That's
probably
the
gonna be
problem.
more nuts, and it's gonna be awesome.
But then people are going to cheer for him.
That's the problem with it, and it's not the
People
right
are gonna
time.
cheer for him regardless. You're gonna have an Austin issue with him.
But it's just not the right time to me.
I say you hold off, if you do a heel turn, hold off to the Rumble, have Reigns and Ambrose be the last 2, have Reigns dump out #3, and have Ambrose dump Reigns out immediately.
I wouldn't mind that. I mean, anything.
And then you really won't have to turn Ambrose heel, but you will still have a tension between Reigns and Ambrose,
Yeah.
as he'll see that as a stab in the back, and Ambrose will still have
However-
the moral high ground of saying everybody for themselves.
Honestly, however we get that match at WrestleMania, I don't give a shit.
As long as Ambrose still has a problem with Rollins too.
Oh, you still, there's
Side with Rollins, yeah.
There's still with Rollins, you still would be going after the title, and there's still that back feud to it.
And I know they want to do the whole Rollins gets kicked out of the Authority just like Orton did, and then feuds with Triple H and this and
Does
that.
Triple H give him the old thumbs down?
And then they'll have a new puppet for Triple H and Steph to play with the Authority. This goddamn Authority thing has been 2 years now.
Yeah,
I don't know if they're
The
really
Authority
going with.
lost at last year's Survivor Series. They're done, right? Came back 2 weeks later.
Or so we thought. Just like when Cena was fired.
Oh, please, that was a dark time. That was a really dark time. John Cena got fired and then showed back up as a luchador, Juan Cena, on house shows.
That happened.
And that was around the time when the NXT guys all came up, and then they were like, oh, we're going to take 8 guys and job them all out to John Cena at once. They came out and did that awesome thing. They beat the shit out of everybody, and then it was just like...
And the arena.
Yeah, they tore up the arena. They choked out
That
Justin
was one of my
Roberts.
favorite endings of Raw ever.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was a good end. It just sucked they had to fire Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, I don't know.
The Justin Roberts incident with the tie.
Yeah, they choke him out with his own tie.
Right. I don't know if they had to fire him for that. They just did.
Well, they had to. It's that corporate. And they had to do something.
I almost thought
Yeah.
that was like that. Almost automatically made the Nexus thing dead in the water, like
Yeah,
right away.
that killed it right there because you had to bring him back somehow. And
It didn't
Yeah. Well, he was gone, and then like
kill it right away, but it wounded it.
yeah, because slowly, like if you notice, like Ryback at the time, Skip Sheffield had an ankle injury, so in the middle of that thing, he was out for a year because he broke his
A
ankle.
couple of guys.
Michael
Yeah.
Tarver left. Who the fuck cares about Michael Tarver? Michael Tarver
Yeah.
left. Like it was the group was like 8 or 9 guys, and like each week the number kept getting smaller.
it was kind of like the Straight Edge Society with that one chick not being able to pull her weight and not go out and drink booze in public.
Yeah, Serena. Was it?
It was Serena.
Yeah, Serena Deeb.
Just kept on. I remember them punishing her because she got pictures of her.
That's hysterical because she was in the Straight Edge Society.
Yeah.
And
You know, you gotta know not to do that when you're in that kind of group. Come on.
It's just I think the Nexus was more victim of circumstance than if you had a solid group that wasn't slowly whittling down, they could have
Right.
easily survived the loss to Cena. But
and not only that, they should have went over at SummerSlam.
I agree. I was just saying if it wasn't that circumstance, they could have easily survived and came back a little bit more pissed off, with the loss.
And then there was that weird thing where they all helped Kane bury the Undertaker, and they never did anything with that either.
Okay, yeah. What was that about?
I think it was
They just needed a way for Kane to retain the title, I think.
that, or they had a plan for something and something changed.
And then they brought in the core, which is.
I
my
like
favorite.
how last night Bray Wyatt. I just want to bring this up. He's like, "I'm the higher power."
That was a
I
good.
just remember Vince McMahon. It was me, Austin. It was me.
Oh,
It was me, Austin. It was me all along.
Vince is sitting backstage. He's like, I told him to say that. Shit. But like, I like that he's saying he's like, okay, I'm the higher power. I'm the
And I
fucking
have the
phenom.
souls of the Brothers of Destruction.
Right.
And this and that.
If he brings out 2 urns, what if he brings out a gold urn and like a red urn?
That'd be awesome.
Have the souls.
I wouldn't have him carry it. I'd have the family carry it.
Yeah.
Kind of like
Oh no, I would
a-
have. Yeah. Could you imagine?
bear.
What's his name?
The 2 sheep carrying him.
Yeah. The 2.
Yeah.
Harper. Somebody said Harper could get him. Should do a mask. And I'm like, well, Harper has that good facial
Yeah,
expression.
yeah.
He looks like
He's
a
got the
maniac.
crazy eyes.
Yeah. If he,
He
did a
doesn't need
mask,
a mask.
no, but if he did the mask, he would have. I'm thinking the Purge, or not the Purge. What was it? The Others, the one with all the animal masks, the horror movie. I have a sheep, or I have a sheep one from WrestleMania, and then I have one that the movie company was handing out was the wolf from the Others. I think that was the name of the movie, and they look really like creepy together, and that
What
would
about
be
a-
like a thing, but
I don't think you give him a mask, but what
I
about
think he does so well.
black and white mask? Like half and half.
Give him the old Phantom of the Opera.
And I'm talking like half black, half white sheep.
Oh, there you go.
Have him be like a combination of the two.
I like that he has, I think, the best story, like backstory out of those 3 guys, because they said like they acknowledged kind of the Brody Lee thing from Ring of Honor and from the Indies, because they're like, he was a truck driver and then he got brainwashed. I was like, well, at least there's a character backstory there.
He's like Bruiser Brody reincarnated. It's amazing.
He really is. I am. Eventually, these guys, like one day, we're gonna look back and go, man, they're all in the main event now and they're all doing really well. That was a rough 3 or 4 years. Just watching, like, it's just so frustrating to watch guys like Bray Wyatt flounder in the mid card for so long, and Cesaro, and we're in the point now where we don't really have any big main eventers. The Rock's gone, Stone Cold's gone, Hulk Hogan's gone, John Cena's not even in the main event half the damn time anyway.
Who's this Hulk Hogan?
Right? I'm sorry, Stevie Richards. Stevie Richards had a hell of a triple threat match at WrestleMania against Triple H and HBK.
He had a great Royal Rumble win, and he jumped off. He leapt off the steel cage onto Don Morocco.
That's right. He did all. Stevie Richards throughout history. That would be a great WWE recap video.
He did a great job of explaining Andre.
What if he did? What they should CGI him in? Take like him from the video games and just Photoshop. Then now forever, it's all Stevie Richards clips.
To have Goldberg be put over by Stevie Richards.
Stevie Richards records the audio from the old Raw intro. Welcome to WrestleMania. Feel the power of the Hulkamania. Everybody's got a price. He does all the old taglines. The world is watching, and it's all just Stevie Richards clips.
The revolutionary force in sports entertainment.
Oh,
Stevie Richards.
Yo, if they ever did bring him back for a one shot and they played the Stevie Night Heat theme and he came out to beat up like Heath Slater or somebody, I would love it.
The closest they came is to when they've been doing the ECW DVDs, and they have Joey Styles hosted, and then they had the Blue World Order come out for a second.
Hell yeah, getting paid.
Why not?
I mean, and also, in case you haven't been keeping up with Stevie Richards, he currently works for DDP Yoga at the DDP Yoga gym.
That's right, he does.
I actually did hear that.
Yeah, I love that because he's posting, like, I get to see all these because I'm friends with him on Facebook. Him and Dallas just post pictures all the fucking time of this new gym. It's awesome looking.
Yeah, he was on Talk is Jericho talking about the gym.
Yeah, that gym is really, I mean, first of all, if you've bought, and I didn't realize this, if you've purchased DDP Yoga in the past couple years, the DVD that you get is the DVD that he originally recorded years ago when it was called Yoga for Regular Guys. So it still has the YRG logo, which is basically the DDP Yoga logo, just a little different. So it still has that, and like it doesn't really say Yoga for Regular Guys he doesn't say that specifically, but the logo and all that stuff is there. And now that they have the new gym and all this new equipment, because Stevie Richards is a big tech guy, so which is probably why he got involved, because he loves this kind of shit. They rigged up this gym with like a stage with a 70-inch flat screen behind it, so you can like be up there and like the trainer can be up elevated from everybody, and he's got a TV above, so you can like keep time or show like exercises or flip to people, whatever. Yeah. And they've got all these HD cameras set up, and they're recording the new DDP Yoga DVDs in that gym. So they're doing like live classes, but they're all facing the camera, and then that's going to be the next version of DDP Yoga that comes out is going to be with this new footage. Yeah. It's going to look fucking awesome.
I got to get that a shot. All the big stars are testifying by that.
I've looked into it. It's one of those things where you have to do it or not.
And Scott Hall, Yeah,
it's amazing what he did for both of them.
Neither of them would be here right now if not for DDP, I think.
Yeah, no, you're right.
No, I do want to see that movie. I want to see the resurrection of Jake the Snake Roberts. I want to see that.
Which made the shortlist for the Oscars.
Yeah, also on Talk is Jericho, I believe Snake was on, and that was an interesting. Yeah, it was Snake. Great interview with Snake, talking about the movie or was that DDP? No, it was DDP and Snake jumped on for a little bit. My bad.
That one moment at it was early 2014, like a month or two before they announced him in the Hall of Fame. He showed up on that Raw.
Yeah, with
he put the snake on Dean Ambrose at the end.
Yeah.
And Ambrose was like down there, but he was like smiling.
Oh, Jake Ambrose was so happy to get DDT'd by Jake the Snake Roberts.
How do you
That's
not?
One of the last few moments CM Punk had with the company too, and it was just like that was like Jake the fucking Snake. That's awesome.
How do you not mark out for that though?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's exactly what happened. He marked out in the ring.
That was the thing.
Broke kayfabe because it's Jake the Snake.
Yeah,
I remember watching that and hearing. I'm like, oh man, who's gonna come out for this save? Who's gonna be the big white knight? And I hear the song, and I'm like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, trust me, trust me, trust me. And I'm like, this is Jake's song. What are they doing? And then when Jake actually came out, I'm just like, fuck.
Too bad he couldn't get the Royal Rumble spot like he wanted.
Yeah, yeah, the trouble is, even as much DDP yoga as he can do, he's still an
Yeah,
old guy who has to go over the top rope and hit the floor.
you know what I'm
Yes.
saying? That was the goal that kept him moving.
Well, that's why the Iron Sheik won the gimmick battle royal, because he couldn't be
Right.
eliminated over the top rope.
Yeah, he had to win it, and then Sarge had to go get his heat back with the
So he put
Cobra
on
clutch.
the clutch, and then Heenan on commentary was like, "By the time Iron Sheik gets here, it'll be WrestleMania 38."
I watched that. I watched that WrestleMania last week. It is the best WrestleMania of all time. It is top to like for me top to bottom. I could watch that forever. Um, it was. I don't know what other WrestleMania is really. I mean, I know people say 30, but I think WrestleMania 17 was.
I think 30 had the bigger one moments.
Yeah, but if you look back at 30, there was stuff like the Shield had like a 2-minute match.
Yeah, I'm not saying like the entire card, but
Right.
the main event moment was bigger.
Yeah.
I think that kind of hurts every other WrestleMania because you've never had that huge
But
Right.
like
organic.
17 was just like even the throwaway like right to censor match was still good, or the
Oh, yeah.
Jericho Regal and
Yeah.
nonsense like that. It was still
Didn't-
still very good. Test
Wasn't
Guerrero
Angle-
was still good.
Angle Benoit.
Yeah,
That was
17 had a
Vince
better.
versus
I'm sorry,
Shane?
Stevie Richards Benoit.
Vince versus Shane with Foley as the ref. Yet the freaking TLC,
Yeah.
obviously
17
Austin Rock and
Yeah.
Taker,
I mean-
Triple H, and
I don't know why they thought that heel turn was going to work in Texas.
in
But-
Texas of all places.
Well, it's a classic thought line. The bigger the face.
It's a Vince McMahon move. He loves doing that shit in people's hometown.
It took a few weeks for the turn to take effect, really, and it really never worked out.
I think it was more Austin. I mean, he's come out and said it was his call.
Right.
He wanted it. He
wanted
took
to
the
do something
blame.
different creatively, yeah.
It's also one of his regrets too, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could have made a little more. But I think there were some things in that heel turn that were awesome.
Yeah.
You had
the,
Stephanie and the Alliance, the wind beneath my ring.
That was awesome.
Oh. And then like Kurt Angle.
him and Kurt Angle trying to get Vince's favor.
Kurt Angle and him with the little fucking cowboy hats.
Yeah.
And then which
The Kumbaya.
Crack corn, I don't
Kumbaya,
care.
Jimmy Crack
I
Corn,
got
which
Olympic gold.
which kind of also led into kazoos and streamers, which is my favorite thing ever. It's all about the zoo. No, man, it's all about the stream. You're like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? Oh, that was a great time in wrestling.
Angle shenanigans with Edge and Christian back in 2000.
Oh yeah,
When Foley was the commissioner around
Oh,
that
yeah.
time. It was
I love Foley as commissioner. Just shove him in a different spot in the stadium every week.
yeah, I love his T-shirt. They didn't have enough room for the whole word, so it said commissioner.
I don't know. There was
Foley
Foley had a lot of real estate to put.
And before
commissioner.
Barrett had the gavel, Mick Foley had the gavel.
Yeah.
Yep. I liked him as a GM and Regal. I know Regal had 2 or 3 runs as GM.
Yeah.
He was born to play that role.
Yeah. I like him down in NXT being the GM.
Yeah, he's doing great down there.
As long as nobody pisses in his tea this time.
Yeah.
Which was
No one
also
besmirched him.
that was also the setup for WrestleMania X7.
Duchess of Queensberry match that happened a month or two after.
I love those Duchess of Queensberry matches, and I want to bring them back.
And that one Raw roulette where Regal had to dress up like a Vegas showgirl or something.
Well, they had the match. There was a Raw roulette where was it him and Goldust had to switch gimmicks?
Yes.
Yeah.
So Regal came out dressed like Goldust, and he was so over it. He just had this look on his face like, God damn it.
Too bad he had to get hit by the wellness policy violation after he won King of the Ring. He was. It seemed like he was in line for a big push, and that just.
Yeah, remember he stopped that Raw in the middle of like Orton's match or something, like turn the lights off, and like he was getting some massive heat. He could have been in line for like possibly a world title run. You never know.
There was some good stuff going on. Like we had a couple good periods in like, and I think the last probably 10 years of the show have been pretty not great. But we've had some good stuff in between. Mostly when guys like Cena would go down with an injury for 8-9 months, Batista would tear his pec or something, Orton would break his collarbone, and then we got like new guys into the mix. It was like
I don't know. Some of the Cena stuff was really like the Edge.
anything with Edge was brilliant. Aside from the fact that Edge was the heel and had to keep putting him over.
Some of the early Randy Orton Cena stuff was really good.
Oh yeah,
Before it got too played out.
before they wrestled
The
each other.
RNN updates.
RNN. Oh
Love
my
those.
god. Going back in time with the RNN updates, and then that Mick Foley, was it 04 Mick Foley and Randy Orton
Yeah.
match?
Oh, that was
my
great.
God.
The Backlash match?
If
Yep.
you watch that, there was an old DVD, Mick Foley's Greatest Hits and Misses, and when they reissued it at Walmart, and then they had a bonus disc, and the bonus disc was like a hardcore bonus disc, whatever. They had that match and a handful of other matches that Mick had wrestled since then, but Joey Styles and Mick Foley did commentary over them.
That would.
So-
I need to find that then.
Yes, yeah, I would recommend it because I love going back to it even now because he talks about it was that match, I believe it was him and Edge at WrestleMania.
That was a great.
Yeah. And then him and Edge teaming against Tommy Dreamer and Terry Funk. Though I think those were the 3 matches on the bonus.
And he had a match against
Oh,
Flair,
and the I
think,
Quit.
too.
Yes, the Flair I Quit match was on there too. So all these he's doing him and Styles are doing the commentary, and he's like, talking about this spot, that spot. The Randy Orton match, the arena wouldn't let them light anything on fire, so that's why they had Eric Bischoff come out and do that whole thing because it was legit. If there was any fire, they were shutting that show down. So they had to be very careful.
Oh man.
Yeah. Well, we blew through an hour, gentlemen.
Oh yeah, too much stuff.
There's always, I appreciate that they are doing their best to give podcasters something to talk about every week. Even if it's something like the old Hulk Hogan contract, which, by the way, if you haven't seen, it's on like BuzzFeed or some bullshit. I don't know. It's unbelievable. How does this guy need to work anymore? I don't understand why he needs to work.
Linda.
Yeah, Linda.
I forgot, I almost
Linda
forgot
was
that he
a
went through this
genius.
horrible divorce, and then Nick crippled the fucking kid, and I'm sure he's still paying for that.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh.
He
And
got
Brooke
fucked
had no
with-
talent.
Yeah.
Yeah, how much money he put into Brooks' career and see where
my
that
I
fucking
will never forget this one episode of Hogan Knows Best where they're playing Brooke shit, and Brooke is in the limo with Hogan. She's like, I don't know if they're ready for me or for my dad. I'm like, no, they're for your dad, you schmuck.
Yeah. They need to realize with these girls, and I like, it's not a knock on her because she's in good shape and she's pretty and everything. She looks like Hulk.
Yeah.
Like her, Charlotte, and Tessa Blanchard, and sometimes Natty, all have the same problem. They're all very pretty girls, and then sometimes you look at them and you go, oh, that's their dad.
Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
true.
Like, I love
Especially-
Tessa. I love talking to Tessa, and she's a great little worker, and she does, like, the slingshot suplex and all that shit. It's fantastic. But,
Yeah,
like,
you're right though. There's certain pictures where she looks really pretty, and then I'm like, wow, she looks like Tully.
genetics.
It's yeah.
It's just, that's what it is.
Flair's
Remember when Natty was feuding with Lay Cool, and they did a little thing when they put the beard on her.
Yeah.
You should have done that for Halloween. I hope she does. I hope they bring her back, and then next Halloween she dresses like her dad.
Hey, but look what Halloween did for John Cena.
Hey.
Dressed up as Vanilla Ice, cut a few raps, and then boom, a
Unbelievable.
15-year
It all
career
start-
afterwards.
It all started with Vanilla Ice.
Actually, I do know the backstory to that, thanks to a podcast. It was on a bus that they recognized Cena's rapping. Apparently, on those European tours, they did just freestyle rap on the buses, and apparently Stephanie overheard Cena, which led into the Vanilla Ice gimmick.
I heard that Cena, and this is a weird crew because they used to work this UW, not the old UWF, but like a UWF out in California in like the early 2000s. It was Cena, Samoa Joe, and Frankie Kazarian,
Hmm.
and
That's a weird group.
That's
they
an
were all
interesting
buddies.
threesome.
Yeah, and they would freestyle together. Like that was their thing. I would love to see Samoa Joe freestyle. I mean that would make my life.
I would love to see a Samoa Joe Cena match.
Yeah, that would be nice. I mean, that should have been, even though Alberto was a great get and it's good to have Alberto back, that was the match that should have happened at the last pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was time to pull up Joe though.
I think Cena Joe is Mania caliber to me.
Yeah, he still has some legs down in NXT before. I mean, you have a Finn
Oh,
Balor's Joe feud coming up.
Right, that's the next one. You think now? What are we gonna do here? Is Joe gonna have the NXT belt and then Balor's gonna come up, or are they gonna surpass that and just have Joe go to the main roster and
I don't
have
know.
Finn be the guy that has the NXT belt? I like that they treat them as separate universes, like they don't really cross over, and if they do cross over, it's like Tyler Breeze is now on the SmackDown roster, or whatever it is.
Yeah, I'm enjoying that.
Owens had a long transition.
Yeah.
And Sasha Banks, too.
Yeah.
Sasha Banks is actually still taunting another match with Bayley.
Oh, yeah. I mean, she's just, here's the problem.
Anytime you
She's
put
got
those
it.
two in the ring, it's going to be phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, she knows to keep that alive because it's money in NXT, and if Bayley, when Bayley makes the main roster, she knows it's money to come back to it. So, why not?
I would love to see that at Mania.
I would be okay with that.
Get the belt on Sasha and build it up as Bayley's. You don't even need to put the belt on Bayley, but just have that build. That would be amazing.
You don't want the Playboy Bunny 6-woman tag team match? Special guest referee Snoop Dogg? You don't
I'm
want that?
quite alright. They can keep that back like 10 years ago.
Jesus. Yeah, I rewatched WrestleMania 24.
How did they manage to get Bayley's little fan out there every single NXT show?
I saw a funny picture. Apparently, she was at a TNA event.
They're probably planting her now.
Yeah, they know that girl, you know.
No, it's just one of those dumb memes where it's like.
It's all. I mean, it's heat. It's cheap heat, but it's heat. Like you can mess with that little girl and be like,
Yeah,
you know.
like when Sasha took her thing and threw it, like that's awesome heat.
And then like Dana Brooke did it like the next show.
Yeah.
Like on a taping. So I mean, I'm glad they're keeping that. I just something about that. I don't want this little girl to be set up to think that she's like part of the show or like a star to be, or like that could like she's like 7. That could mess somebody up for their life. Yeah.
But at the same time, it's a great connection between her and Bayley.
Absolutely. I think Bayley needs to do the Bret Hart thing and have something that she can give the kids on the way to the ring.
And I like her. What she was doing is that little snap bracelet.
There we go. That's right. She was doing the snap bracelets. That would be still be over.
It's a cool little action because you still see it snap around.
You just like hand out like random 90s stuff like Pogs or something.
I think she could do like maybe if she wore 2 bows and she took the bow off and like gave it to
or the weird Rey Mysterio thing with the mask and the headbutt.
He still does that. He still does that. He headbutts little kids and I don't know what he's doing. I think he's talking.
You're right though. It's a very Bret Hart sunglasses kind of thing. It's
what about her Ultimate Warrior tassels?
Yeah. I mean, any of that stuff is marketable. The reason they signed Tyler Breeze up to the main roster is because I thought selfie sticks were going to be a big hit. Like that's one of their things they're making for Tyler Breeze is those fuzzy selfie sticks, and they're going to sell them. I
think they're going to sell big time.
I think they are too, but I mean, it's funny that that's one of the things that gets you on the main roster.
Yeah.
You've got an accessory.
I'll tell you one thing: if they ever, like one day, want to turn Tyler Breeze face, all he has to do is just take selfies with fans.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, he's
got to do.
He is the easiest heel to face right there.
And I hope, I need to watch more of his work. I've seen some of his NXT stuff. He seems solid. I just want to know, I want to see him work one of those main roster guys. Like, I think this Dolph They know Dolph's a good hand. This is going to be a good test for Tyler Breeze, how that match
Yeah, I
turns
think
out.
they made a very smart decision in having his first feud with someone like Dolph.
Because first of all, Dolph can keep up with him, and then they're almost like, I don't want to say they're similar characters, but they're kind of like two sides of the same coin.
Yeah, the show off and someone who
the model,
brings it pretty.
both with the bleach blonde hair. Yeah, I like it.
They both can tear down the ring, and I can't wait to see Survivor Series just for that, which is ironic with everything else going on.
Oh, well, there's so much. You're right with everything else going on. Just in general, we've got a lot of shit going on. This is the time of year you start getting excited. Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania. Get hype.
I was listening to Wrestle Reaction last night. I agree with you.
I don't get hype. I stay hype.
It is
that fucking guy.
We're actually in one of the best falls.
Yeah.
In a long while.
As long, because like last year I thought that too, and then Sting's
debut, and
I was and then Sting was Heath Slater one night because they didn't want to pay Sting to show up, so they stuck with Heath Slater and wink. Oh, Madon. So that's they had something there, especially with the Authority leaving and all that, and now they shit all over it a couple weeks later, and here we are again. Maybe we'll actually get rid of the Authority in a Survivor Series match this year.
I don't mind keeping the Authority. The role they're playing right now is a lot better than last year.
They're very neutral. Yeah, they're very
They're not taking up the show like last night's Raw. They were there for the opening segment.
They don't heal it up as much.
They were gone.
No, but it's weird that they flip between like
they're
being
tweeners right now.
They're just kind of playing that neutral role where if you need an Authority figure, they come out, handle.
They're almost being Jack Tunney.
I was gonna say I want them to do the old Jack Tunney routine where he's behind and it's just a pre-tape behind the desk, like that thing with the Ultimate Warrior not being able to defend the IC title after winning the world title, and he announced the IC title tournament. Yeah. I love those.
You knew when Jack Tunney said shit was about to go down,
Yeah.
Or when he sat.
And then years later, Linda McMahon kind of had that role where Linda comes out, shit's about to happen.
Oh yeah. I start thinking of music.
It's the old WrestleMania song.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I love when they had Mania, WrestleMania. It's the goofiest song, but it's catchy.
Still not as goofy as I Want to Be a Hulkamaniac.
Any of those wrestling boot or the Hulk Hogan and the wrestling boot band ones were just another Hulkamania.
I was always fond of Jimmy Hart's "Eat Your Heart Out," Rick Springfield.
There you go. I mean, Jimmy Hart. There's a DVD. I forget who put it out. Kayfabe Commentaries or somebody. But they actually had. It was Jimmy Hart, a guy on a piano, and they were sitting there playing and singing the old entrance songs, and then he would talk about them, like how he wrote them. So I have to check. I have to find the title.
I would love to see that.
Yeah. And it's really, they just put it, they like went into an auditorium, got him on a stage with a piano, and they're just like, here, play your
I gotta pick Jimmy's brain about that stuff at WrestleCade when I see him.
He's the man. When you bring up, if anybody ever brings up Keep On Dancing by the Gentrys,
I will bring it up because I like that song.
Oh, I love that song. And you can always, he's the highest pitched guy in the group. If you listen carefully, you can hear Jimmy Hart singing his part in that song, Keep On Dancing. Because he's got that distinctive, hey, it's me, I'm Jimmy Hart. Like, that's him.
Yeah.
He's got that voice, and it transferred over to the. It was so he's a talent. I mean, he's a weird guy if you've ever watched Legends House, but he's a talent.
Oh,
and if you haven't watched Legends House, you're doing yourself a disservice.
That's a great show. The bonding of Piper and Duggan as friends is great, and the whole thing.
Alexis hates it because I picked up the Tony Atlas. Now I'm into Jimmy Hart.
It's all about the rubber ducks.
Rubber ducky. I fucking love that show. I go back. I mean, I've watched it a couple times now. I'll just go back and pick episodes.
I wish they would do another season. I really do.
Well, did I tell you guys my thought for they could call it Jobber House, and they could just it would be like Al Snow, Savio Vega, Gilbert, You know,
You know
all
who's
those
great,
Flash Funk. You know,
Hillbilly Jim looked phenomenal.
who?
Hillbilly Jim.
Oh,
He looked
yeah,
like
what
in
the
great shape.
Why not throw in a few current jobbers like a Zack Ryder or Bo Dallas?
Could you imagine like Al Snow and Zack Ryder getting in an argument over who gets to use like the smoothie machine first thing in the morning, or like any of those things? Because you know Al Snow is just a ball buster weird guy. That's just what he does. He would find one guy in that house and just pick on him. And I would hate to call it Jobber House if this particular person was in the show, but I think if Al Snow and Mick Foley lived in the same house, it would either be the best television show ever or one of them would kill the other. I'm not sure which one would happen.
Foley has Al Snow jokes galore, you know?
Yeah.
Do you think
They're
Al
all
Snow
over
would
his
just
book, his comedy routine. It's great.
I know there's no. I've heard an interview with him. There's actually no heat. He
No, they
on my iPod cable.
was more happy about it with actually being Foley kept him relevant.
He kept his name relevant. I mean, and I know they're friends. Like that was like he wrote that Hardcore Diaries book, and he had a bunch of Test jokes in there, and it was like the book came out right after Test died, so he had to have a page in there. He's like, listen, I was going to take these jokes out, but me and Test were friends, and I know if Test read the book, he would have loved it, so I'm leaving the Test jokes in.
Yeah.
And they were funny. I mean, they weren't like mean jokes. I mean, I guess they could be construed as mean, because he would talk about like, oh, my match was so short it was the same length as Test's main event run or something like that. You know, he'd have like little jokes like that talking about Test like he would about Al Snow. But
it's Mick Foley.
Yeah.
It's that his style of humor.
Yeah, he's got like a weird sense of humor, that guy. Especially in the last couple books. Countdown to Lockdown was a weird book. Northeast Wrestling gets mentioned in Countdown to Lockdown, by the way.
Oh, I got to read that again then.
We had a show the Saturday before lockdown in Philly. Like the show lockdown was in Philly and we were in somewhere else in PA. And we were supposed to have Mick, we were supposed to have a bunch of people, and then like some people dropped out because they were TNA guys and they had to work the pay-per-view the next day, so like we had to bring Ron Simmons in. It was one of those shows where like 3 or 4 people were card subject to change, and it did. But I give Foley credit because he came out, he did, that guy works hard for a guy who can barely walk.
Yeah.
So in everything,
I don't say Foley walks. He kind of just scuttles.
Yeah. Oh, it's to see him try and climb stairs is just, I feel so bad for him. But he's a pro. I mean, he's definitely a pro. We should probably finish up. We're at like 20 after now.
We're over time.
We'll go right down the line. Eric, any last thoughts before we close out here?
I don't know. It's time for some shameless plugs. The following announcement has been paid for by
time. Once again.
Buy the shirt. Buy the shirt. Buy the shirt.
Oh, I need a shirt.
But seriously, take me date. Sign up. It's free. Make wrestling night your date night.
Absolutely. Ryan.
Find me on Tag Me a Date. Ha 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 ha. Plug myself.
Everybody search Ryan. His favorite match is Alicia Fox versus Melina.
Oh, I love it. I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. Oh, shit.
Awesome. Steve, how about you, buddy? We've been seeing the locker room all day on the chat thing here. What are your final thoughts for tonight?
Overall, I think Raw was decent. I just want to recap. I think, once again, WWE fucked up. They had a great main event, and they fucked it up with a traditional Seth Rollins fucking DQ. And it pisses me off a little bit. Other than that, TakeMeADate.com, first month's free. Get on the shit. Location search is live.
Absolutely. Location search is live. Tag Me a Date doing big things. We've got... Are you guys still involved with a little group known as Gimmick Tree Entertainment? Is that still?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I saw. I think you guys shared it. Kurt Angle is putting out some kind of award, and he was announcing the name live on like the Gimmick Tree Facebook page. Like that was the.
Yep.
Yeah, he's gonna be doing a video.
That's awesome. Also, that I'm glad Kurt Angle is doing some things to plan for his future, not in wrestling. Please, Kurt, for the sake of everybody, don't.
I want to see one more Mania.
Okay,
match.
one more match where he doesn't do something stupid like a moonsault from the top of the cage.
Yeah, I'm
You know
not
he
saying
wants
I
to.
want
That's
something
what he
like
wants
that. I want to see him and Daniel Bryan just tear down.
Winner. They should have a coupon for free neck surgery at the top of the ladder. Free spinal fusion surgery, and they're both trying to.
Or if somehow Rusev is relevant at all by then,
Oh,
That-
see,
that-
Rusev Angle would be. I mean, Rusev Swagger is like a placeholder Rusev Angle, as far as I'm concerned.
That would
Yes,
have been
please.
great. Have somehow get Rusev the United States title. Have him mock John Cena by having an open challenge at Mania, and have
Yeah.
Kurt Angle come.
Kurt
out.
Angle answer it? Oh. The other thing that would have been great, and we can't do it now because of bullshit, is I am a real Bulgarian.
Hey,
The poses. If he came out and he shaved his shit into a handlebar mustache,
I think
let
that would
me
get
tell
so
you
over.
something, brothers. You know, he just comes out and does the whole Hulk thing. He
We could
rips
tag
his
with
shirt.
Curtis Axel.
just
And
have
then, yes, Curtis Axel comes out and he's like, you,
Me.
me. And he's like, me? Not me, Coldfish Lana. No, he's
Well,
a
I
funny
digress.
guy. He's a really funny guy, but he shouldn't be funny here. They should have a show. Like, this is where they need to have a WWE Network show that's just like, it's like Borat, but it's Rusev. They just call the show Rusev, and he like sits down. He's like, "I'm here with presidential candidate Ben Carson. Ben Carson, you don't believe in abortions?" Like, could you imagine just him talking about this stuff? It would be the best talk show ever. Oh, I also
Donald
had
Trump, is that your real hair?
right. Is this real hair?
just start pulling it.
The only guy to touch Donald Trump's hair in 30 years is Rusev.
And if you really are interested in finding something entertaining on the WWE Network, Table for Three. It really is
Bingo.
Yeah,
Very
Table
entertaining
for Three is awesome.
a bunch of guys. Like the New Day one was funny. All of them. It's just they're really entertaining. I enjoy.
I want them to have a
I want to
internet
take.
championship that's network exclusive. I don't care if you use Zack Ryder's belt or whatever, but have somebody say they're reinstating the 24/7 rule for the internet championship, and then during the day you're at work and you get a push notification on your iPhone that's like, oh, Heath Slater just attacked Zack Ryder backstage. Click here to watch the video, and like you get a title change on your phone, like you get to just watch the match happen backstage. That'd be fucking boss. But anyway,
One table for three. I want The Rock, Triple H, in Austin.
that would be a hell of it. That would be like the
That would be
season
the
finale
perfect Attitude
episode.
Era.
yeah. How about Foley, Al Snow, and like Terry Funk or Tommy
That'd
Dreamer?
be great.
That would be actually. I think Tommy Dreamer, Al Snow, Mick Foley would be a great table for three because they could just talk. I mean, they could talk everything because they worked in every company.
I love their great road stories and their kinship, their friendship. It's just awesome. Even
Yeah,
the
you
ones
can-
that haven't seen each other for years, and I love the women's one with was it Medusa, Molly Holly, and Ivory. It was great.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I have to watch that one because those girls, Molly Holly and Ivory are known
Ivory's
as
got a potty mouth.
saints.
My God.
Yeah, I mean, those two girls were known as like saints. They were like the good girls backstage.
Yeah. I miss Molly Holly. She was great.
She was.
Yeah, I was a big Molly Holly fan. Not just because she was cute. She worked like those girls back then. Because let me put it this way: you can never say that I only base my favorite women's wrestlers based on looks. Because my favorite women's wrestler of all time is Jazz, and while she was pretty, she was a very intimidating-looking woman.
Oh yeah,
So-
she was pretty masculine to say. the
And
least.
she was married to, or she might still be married to him, Rodney Mack, the White Boy Challenge.
Yeah.
Back to Mac.
Oh man.
All right.
All right, we're gonna head out. Everybody, go to Tag Me a Date. Oh, this weekend and next weekend is big. Go to northeastwrestling.com. We're going to be in Auburn, New York on Friday. We're going to be in Bethany, Connecticut on Saturday. And then our big show, is next Friday, the 13th in Waterbury. It's not at Crosby High School. It's at the other high school in Waterbury, whose name I forget, and I shouldn't forget that because I'm cutting a promo on the show. But Waterbury, Connecticut next week is going to be fucking huge. Rey Mysterio versus Matt Hardy is one of the matches. We've got Ron Zombie and Brian Anthony in a casket match, and the referee for the casket match is Jeff Hardy.
Wow.
We're gonna have the first annual Roddy Piper Memorial Battle Royal.
Awesome.
Winner gets the honor of, it's kind of like our Andre tournament, or our Andre Rumble or Rumble for the year. And Bobby Lashley's gonna be there. I think Bret Hart's gonna be there. Big fucking show.
Yeah, it's going to be a huge show.
God, go to northeastwrestling.com for information if you're in the area. It's worth the drive. November, we usually have 2 booms in the summer and then right towards the end of our winter season because we usually don't run shows into December and January due to snow dates. So these are the big shows for the month. I would recommend you checking out at least one of them because I know the Auburn show is stacked too, but that's a little bit for like somebody like me, that's 5 hours out. So if you're in upstate New York, this is your opportunity. Otherwise, Southern Connecticut, Bethany or Waterbury, check out northeastwrestling.com. But check out, excuse me, I just burped a little bit. Check out tagmeadate.com. Buy the shirt. We are the only dating site specifically for wrestling fans. And you know how passionate wrestling fans are about the product. They are very passionate people. They enjoy what they enjoy, and I know you're one of them if you're listening to the show. So head out to tagmeadate.com, see if you can find that special someone, or even if you just want a WWE network and chill. Who cares? So, I think, what can I say? That should be an option on your site. What are you looking for? Serious relationship, blah, blah, blah. Network and chill. On the search, network and chill. Just for hookups. That could be... We could come up with a wrestling version of Tinder, and you just swipe, and then you can network and chill. Anyway, tagmeadate.com. Your first 30 days are free. Sign up right now. You have nothing to lose. Do it. We'll see you all next week.